This is the Season Long Podcast in support of the YouTube channel SeasonLongBaller. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and it is playoff basketball time in the real NBA and in our simulation on the video game NBA 2K23. So we will jump right into it. Our Washington Wizards started their first round series with the Indiana Pacers, the number 8 seed, who did win the play-in tournament game week prior. So game 1 took place on the 16th. It was a 61-47 victory for the Wizards. It was 1-0 going into last week. And of course, we talked about the 61-47 victory in the last podcast, in podcast number 24. So game 2 is where we start this week. And that took place on Tuesday. The Wizards dominating the Pacers 84-57 as the Pacers struggled from the field somewhat. And that has been kind of a theme in the playoffs for the Pacers. And this was exemplified by Tyrese Halliburton, who went 3 for 15 from the field, 1 for 4 from deep. He did have 10 rebounds and 6 assists, but that 3 out of 15 really hurt in the 84-57 victory for the Wizards. Now, looking at the percentages, the Pacers only shot 34% from the field. The Wizards hit half of their shots, 31 out of 62. The Wizards were also 9 out of 17 from 3, so 53% there. And the Pacers were only 6 out of 31 from the field, from deep, for a 19% hit rate. And again, that was the big difference in the game where the Wizards were dominant and winning this game. Game 2, this past Tuesday, 84-57. Now, the Pacers did lead in second chance points, 14-4, and they did get destroyed, though, with bench points, 35-17. In favor of the Wizards. So taking a look at game 3, moving along, the Wizards got the victory again, 78-58, a 20-point win for the Wizards to go up 3-0. Of course, the venue changed as now we are playing the games in Indianapolis. Jaymont Summerz, our NBA 2K23 player build and the Rookie of the Year. And don't forget, we do have a greatest hits package, or you could say a plays of the year for Jaymont Summerz on the channel, so you may want to check that out. But Summerz finished with 20 points, his best game of the playoffs, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 8 for 14 from the field, and 2 for 5 from deep, and leading the Wizards on this victory, 78-58. Now, the other significant thing in this victory is center and NBA All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year in our simulation, Kristaps Porzingis, went with a double-double, 14 points and 15 rebounds. So when the Pacers were missing these shots, they were not getting many second chance opportunities. And there is a big difference in this game. Again, a big reason why the Wizards won this game. Again, Porzingis getting the double-double, going 14 and 15. Now, again, on the flip side of that, as we were saying, the Pacers were missing so many shots, exemplified again by Buddy Hield. Hield has had a rough playoffs at spots, as we know that, as we talked about last week, where Hield was 0 for 10 and 0 for 5 from deep in the first play-in game and lost to the 7 seed, the eventual 7 seed Miami Heat. In this game, 16 minutes played, only had 3 points as he was 1 out of 11 from the field, and his only shot was a 3-pointer, but he went 1 for 7 there. And again, that exemplified the struggles that the Pacers had. The Pacers only shot 30% from the field in this game. Wizards again were hitting half of their shots. Wizards going 27 out of 54. The Pacers got up 67 shots, but again, only 30% from the field. And when that happens, it's going to be very difficult to win. The Wizards dominated the boards, 47-24. Yes, 47-24. Led, of course, by Porzingis' 15 rebounds, as we just mentioned. And again, if you're not hitting shots and you're not getting rebounds, it's going to be very difficult to win the game. So the question now becomes, will the Pacers be able to avoid the sweep in Game 4, which took place yesterday? Wizards again in Indianapolis taking on the Pacers, and the Wizards did complete the sweep. This again, Jaymont Summerz leading the way, going 7 out of 11 from the field, 2 out of 3 from deep. Again, probably his best shooting game overall, our best shooting game. And the Wizards, however, this was the closest game in the series. Wizards only get a 75-69 victory over the Pacers, and this will end the Pacers season. Wizards get the sweep, 4-0, again led by Summerz with his 16 points and 3 assists, 1 rebound, 7 out of 11 from the field. Pacers shot the ball relatively better comparative to what they have done in the previous games. 45% from the field. Again, the Wizards shot 50%, and that's been the consistent theme in games 2, 3, and 4. And the Pacers shot 45% from the field, but only 8 out of 31 from deep for just over making a quarter of their threes at a 26% clip. And that was really, again, the big difference in this game. But it is only a 6-point win for the Wizards. So looking at the totality of this, the Wizards swept the playoff series and swept the regular season series. So the Wizards defeated the Pacers 8 straight times this season. Season is over for the Pacers. So taking a look at the overall playoff picture now for the Wizards who got the sweep, they are now going to be waiting for the winner of the Chicago Bulls Atlanta Hawks series. As you may recall, I was thinking that the Hawks were probably going to win that series, but right now, as it stands, the Bulls are leading that series 3-1. We swept the Bulls during the regular season, split with Atlanta in some pretty hard-fought games. So, yeah, I probably would rather see Chicago. And right now, it looks like Chicago is leading that series, again, 3-1. The other side of the bracket here in the East, Philly and Miami right now are tied at 2-2, and that is your 2 and 7 seed series. But here's the shocker. Last week again, I said that I thought Boston as the 6th seed was going to upset Cleveland, the 3 seed. Right now, Cleveland leads that series 3-1. Now, will Cleveland be able to finish Boston off? We will have to see. But right now, Boston is losing that series 3-1 to Cleveland. So just to recap, Washington has finished off Indiana 3-0. Chicago leads Atlanta in the 4-5 series 3-1. Cleveland leads Boston 3-1. And Philly is tied with Miami in the 2-7 series 2-2. Now out west, Memphis is your 1 seed. They are leading the 8-seeded Lakers 2-1. Denver is leading Minnesota in your 4-5 series. Denver is the 5 seed. And remember, Denver is without Aaron Gordon, who is out for the rest of the season in our simulation. Denver is leading Minnesota 3-1. And in the 3-6 series, Dallas is the 3, Sacramento is the 6, and Dallas is leading that series 3-1. And finally, in our 2-7 and out west, the Clippers are leading Portland 2-1. So right now, our next game, as I mentioned, will be the winner of Chicago and Atlanta. We will see how that plays out. Just check out Season Long Baller to see when we will get to that series. It will probably be later on in the week. We'll see if Atlanta can mount at least somewhat of a comeback. That's going to do it. Oh, well, before I can say that, we've got to do our Jaymont Summerz play of the week. Avdia brings the ball up over to Summerz. I probably should have pulled that. I had some room. Summerz, hangs in the air. Nice shot around the shot blocker this time. All right, Jaymont Summerz with the drive and the finish in traffic for the pretty layup. Now, that's going to do it for this edition of the Season Long Podcast, number 25. Thank you for joining us. As always, your attention, your watching and listening is very much appreciated. If you like what we're doing here on the podcast, please download our episodes. If you like what we're doing on the channel, give us that like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that will let you know when the winner of Atlanta and Chicago emerges and when we will play game 1 of the conference semifinals. That's going to do it for Season Long Baller. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.